So yeah, this guy. Just when you thought it wouldn't get any worse, right? Well, it does here. How's everybody doing today? Doing pretty good? Considering here it's windy, it's damp, and it's snowing. So yeah, we'll see. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're an old standby, and welcome back. Keep coming back. I love y'all. So today, I want to talk about that plane crash at Reagan International Airport. The airline and Black Hawk helicopter crash that happened in Washington, the Reagan International, is now a recovery mission. It's believed that all 64 passengers and crew on both the American Airlines flight and the 3 soldiers in the Black Hawk helicopter have perished. On Media, ITE, a professor of political science, his last name is Shaler. I can't remember what his first name is, but anyway, he's at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. He's an author and a commentator, and he went viral after he slammed Trump for his handling of ATC safety, air traffic control. Now, 12 hours before the crash on Wednesday, 12 hours before, he posted this on X, and he said, "An FAA employee I know confirms the agency already lacks sufficient air traffic controllers, ATCs. The so-called buyouts and other attacks on federal employees won't help." Remember that fact when flight delays, crashes, commence, and Trump starts blaming DEI or Biden. Well, true to form, Trump is now spouting off on exactly those reasons for the crash. He is blaming DEI, Pete Buttigieg, and Biden. The newly sworn-in transportation secretary, an ex-congressman from 2011, 2019, I think he's from Wisconsin, resigned to become a lobbyist because there's more money in that. He was sworn in just the day before the crash. The article in Raw Story, I get emails from them all the time. I subscribe to them. If this plane crash had happened 4 months ago, Trump would be insisting it was caused by DEI hires and blaming Biden's administration repeatedly, while the media credulously amplified the lies, said Noah Belatsky. Making up claims like this is irresponsible and horrible, not least because it's painful to the families involved. It certainly seemed like Democrats could point that out to Trump while he's gutting federal capacity, and that will lead to many more accidents like this one. I'm not blaming Trump for last night's crash by any means, but imagine if Biden fired 100 FAA officers a week prior to the plane crash and added, the Cranston brothers said, they're online influencers. What would Fox cover for the next 2 weeks? 24/7, I might add. The head of the FAA had imposed fines on Mussolini and SpaceX for violating air safety regulations, said Diana Resist. She's on Blue Sky. She's another influencer. Musk forced the FAA administrator to resign because he over-regulated air safety requirements. And at the time of the crash, Trump had not replaced Michael Whitaker, who was the FAA administrator, until after the crash. It's like, oh shit, maybe we should do that. We'll hire maybe one more federal employee. Now, Musk called, and I'm going to say for Trump, to have his resignation taken in September, when he was going to be fined over $600,000 for failing to follow license requirements for 2 launches in February 2023. Whitaker said at a congressional panel that the fines were the only tool we have to get compliance on safety matters. So it's not like they can charge him or anything, they can only fine them. So of course, the FAA is blocking his big dream trip to Mars. That's in his feeble imagination. I'm just saying. Dean Obeidallah said if Trump's temporary freeze on federal funding caused this crash in Washington, D.C., then Trump should be held criminally. He should be criminally investigated for the murders. Same for Trump's Secretary of Defense, Pig Hegseth. Their actions appear to have killed Americans. Now, Pondering Politics, Josiah, I love that kid. I like his show too. Pondering Politics, check it out. Says Piscoletti, he's another influencer. He said, I guess it doesn't help this won't help the Mango Moose Knuckles case, by the way. But they said that Trump's new government, the senior Republican member, Rick Larson, on the House Committee on Transportation, and the subcommittee ranking member on aviation, Steve Cohen, have said the FAA is under a hiring freeze for air traffic controllers, contrary to what Trump would have you believe. And a search for usajobs.gov shows no jobs were found for the Federal Aviation Administration, which is consistent with a hiring freeze, despite a well-known shortage of ATCs. Coincidence? I don't think so. Is it a coincidence that Trump executively ordered the purge of the Air Safety Board? So, the Mango Moose Knuckle is blaming Biden for the New Orleans attack and the Vegas MAGA that, in my opinion, rightfully blew up a Tesla truck and this air crash. No, you bet I don't, as RuPaul would say. If shit that happened while Biden was president makes him the fall guy for anything else that happens, storms and all the rest of the stuff, then it would stand to reason that all things that happened while the Mango Moose Knuckle is president makes him the one responsible. Turnabout is fair play here. Now, Trump blames everything on everybody else. He doesn't even take responsibility for when he hooks a shot out on the fairway. He doesn't take responsibility for that. They don't call him the Pele of golf for nothing. He goes in the woods, he kicks that ball back out on the fairway, or he has one of his minions. Well, now it's his Secret Service detail that put that, oh, look, we found it, like 2 feet from the pin. On ABC, Trump said today that their DEI policy of hiring, he says, I put safety first, Democrats put policy first. This was in the press briefing, he actually showed up at the press briefing room. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first, and they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen. Oh God, look in the mirror. Look in the friggin' mirror. Well, it's the first plane crash in the U.S. since 2009, so who's responsible? We've had 2 Democratic presidents in that time. Just saying. Their policies weren't as good as ours. We have a high standard. We've had a higher, much higher standard than anybody else, because of course you do. Narcissists say that shit all the time. He also spewed this line of bullshit, well, moose shit in this case. An article I have seen, they're saying various articles, so you know it's a line of shit right there. Prior to my entering the office, he said an article said the FAA had a big push for diversity, included hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. Yeah, that happened, right? This is amazing. The FAA says people with severe disabilities are the most underrepresented in the workforce, and they want them in, and they can be air traffic controllers. Have you ever taken the test for an air traffic controller? Nobody with any psychological torment going on in their brain would pass that. It's nerve-wracking as hell, and it's like 2 days of testing, so go fuck yourself. That's what you can do, Donnie boy. The FAA does not hire people with intellectual or psychiatric disabilities. I think there's a check mark on the form where you have to check that. You're not going to get a test with those check marks. I'm just saying. They're most underreported. He's a goddamn liar. That's all. Because that's a big ass lie that he hauled out of his big ass. He says that January 14th, they had a big push. And the FAA, overseen by Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. You know how badly everything was run with him as he's run the Department of Transportation. He's a disaster. He was a disaster as mayor. He ran the city into the ground. He's a disaster now. He's not in charge of anything now. Your fuck-ups did this. He's just got a good line of bullshit. Why? Because he can talk circles around you and tell the truth? The Department of Transportation is a government charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it 45,000 people, and he runs it right into the ground with his diversity. You know where he went with that, don't you? He's getting to, oh, he couldn't possibly do that. He's gay. How can he run something like that? That's where that's going. I read between the lines. Caitlin Collins from CNN asked if he knew the names of the 67 passengers. And are you blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic controllers for this? But seemingly the military was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Say that 10 times fast. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now? Moose Knuckle goes, no, I don't think so at all. I don't think the names of the people on the plane, you think that's going to make a difference. They're a group of people that lost their lives. If you want a list of their names, we can give that to you. We will be giving that very soon. Something like his infrastructure bill every 2 weeks, right? And very soon, in coordination with American Airlines, and coordination strongly, obviously, with the military, because his ass-kissing little buddy from Fox is the Secretary of Defense. But I think that is not a very smart question. I'm surprised that coming from you. You know what else I'm surprised? That he has never, ever said that to one white, male Fox journalist. Ever. So yeah, that's what that bullshit is all about today. May their souls rest in eternal bliss. Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, I give these out at my shows once in a while. But anyway, yeah, 99 loves you. Be good, be safe, and please take care of you first. Have a good thought for the souls that perished. And I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.